take a look at the players of the week from week one, which were announced just about 30 minutes ago. Earning CAA football offensive player of the week honors was Monmouth junior wide receiver Gavin Nelson. Nelson set career highs with five receptions for 176 yards and three touchdowns as Monmouth completed the largest comeback in program history with a 42-39 win at Colgate. The Hawks were trailing 31-7 midway through the third quarter, and Nelson caught TD passes of 70, 24, and 51 yards to put Monmouth up 35-31 with 12:24 left. The three receiving TDs were the most by any FCS player in week one, and the 176 yards were the second most in FCS this week or last week. Receiving CAA football defensive player of the week honors was North Carolina A&T junior linebacker Joshua Isaiah. Isaiah recorded a team-high 10 tackles, a career-high 3 tackles for loss. He also had an interception in A&T's narrow 24-21 loss at Tennessee State. His diving pickoff in the second quarter led to a touchdown that put the Aggies ahead, and his 3 tackles for loss were the fourth most by any FCS player in week one. He led an A&T defense that held TSU to negative 5 yards rushing in the first half and 252 total yards for the game. Special teams player of the week honors went to Towson's Caden Williams. Williams had been Towson's kickoff specialist for the past 2 years, but last Thursday went 2 for 2 on field goals and 3 for 3 on extra points in their 27-7 win at Norfolk State. He had a 24-yard field goal in the first quarter and then hit a 50-yarder in the second quarter. It was the first 50-yard field goal by a Towson kicker since 2018. And earning CAA Rookie of the Week honors was Towson freshman quarterback Andrew Indorf. Indorf was 14-26 passing for 187 yards and 3 touchdowns in that win at Norfolk State. He threw a 33-yard scoring strike on the Tigers' first drive of the game and then had TD passes of 36 and 15 yards in the fourth quarter after Norfolk State had closed to within 6. So those are our CAA football players of the week for week one. Before we get started with Coach Gibbs here this morning, just a reminder to media members who are on the line, if you have questions for any of the coaches here this morning, just use the chat feature or the raise your hand icon. So as I said, we begin this morning with the head coach at North Carolina A&T, Shawn Gibbs. Good morning, Coach Gibbs.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. As I touched on in the Player of the Week segment, a heartbreaking way to lose for your team, 24-21 against the defending Big South OVC champions. Had a field goal at the end that got blocked. But what do you take away from that game, and what were you able to learn about your team?
Well, I'll start with what I was able to learn. I was able to learn that we'll fight. These guys will compete. We have a never give up mentality. I also learned that we got to do a better job of coaching them. Starts with me at the top. When you really look at the game statistically, we had an advantage in almost every category, but it was three or four plays here or there where guys were misaligned and we gave up an explosive that really caused us to come up short. So I got to do a good job of getting guys in position to make plays. And if I can do that, I think we have a chance.
Going into that environment with a lot of new guys, coaching staff with those guys for the first time playing in an NFL stadium like we talked about last week, did you feel like they handled the situation and the environment pretty well?
Yeah, I feel like we were excited. We didn't seem overwhelmed. We knew it was going to be a challenge, but they had some challenges as well. They won the conference last year, but it was basically a new team. But they had some really, really good coaches and they had those guys prepared. But, I think we were ready. It's just we didn't make the plays when we had to. And that's what football comes down to, making the timely plays and keeping other teams from making those plays.
We're here with A&T head coach Shawn Gibbs. You had a question for him this morning. Just use the chat feature or the raise your hand icon. Chris, let's talk about your team a little bit. Let's start on the offensive side. And you played a couple of quarterbacks. Champ Long got the start. Braxton Thomas came off the bench. I know Champ had a couple of turnovers, but what a performance you got from Braxton, 11-13 passing, 169 yards, and a touchdown, also ran for one. How impressed with the accuracy and the composure from such a young guy?
I was very impressed. I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't believe he was capable of doing that because, like I've said all along, I believe that we have couple quarterbacks that can win football games for us. So I wasn't shocked that he came in and performed at a high level. I was proud of him. That takes a lot of um, concentration and focus to stay ready. And then when his number was called, because Champ was struggling, had a couple turnovers, and we called on Brax, and he came in and he played really well. He was efficient, made good decisions, showed some toughness. We always knew that he was a competitor. So, I feel good about both of our quarterbacks going forward.
I was going to say, certainly, I saw some of your comments afterwards. Champ's still very much in the mix, and do you see yourself kind of utilizing both of those guys as we go into at least into this week?
Yeah, absolutely. And then if one guy can really separate himself from the other, then that's who we'll go with. But I feel comfortable with both of those guys. I think Brax has really uh, showed something where I think we're really going to have to give him an opportunity to see what he can do as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
And then go from there. But football is a game where no matter what, you always got to be ready because you're one play away. So we feel like both of those guys will be prepared. Both of them are working hard, and they'll both be ready to go this Saturday.
I know one of the things that was a focus for you offensively was to establish a rushing attack and a running game. 133 yards, not a bad total for the opening week. Were you happy with that part of your game?
I mean, the number's not bad, but the way that we executed, I wasn't happy. I feel like we're a lot better than we showed in the run game. Too many negative runs, too many times we're getting hit in the backfield. So that's some stuff we can clean up internally and get coached up so we can give our running backs a chance. I felt like Wesley Graves had a day where he was running the ball hard, but we didn't give him enough space. And then the times that we did, he was able to make some plays. But I'm still encouraged. I think that we have the ability to run the football. I believe in our offensive line coach, Coach Mattis, and that our offensive linemen will get it done. So, that was the first game. It's something to build on. Statistically, that's not a terrible number, but we want to play better than we did.
Let's switch over to the defensive side. You hold TSU to 11 first downs, 252 yards. I know those two big runs they broke are probably still bothering you even this morning. But overall, aside from those two plays, how did you feel like they played?
Good. I felt like we did pretty good, but it was three plays. Those three
Yeah.
plays really really cost us. The first touchdown, just uh, a guy just not understanding his assignment and not covering his man and gave up an explosive. And then those two runs. So you're talking about three plays. You take those three plays out of it, then we played a really good game. But unfortunately, you can't. You got to count those three plays, and those three plays cost us, but I think it is a good lesson for our defense to understand how we can't let down for even a single play. Every single play matters. We got to be in the right place. We got to communicate, and we got to make sure that we're playing team defense. And if we can do that consistently throughout the game, then I think we can be a lot better than people expect us to be.
When you went back and look at those plays, was that all it is just kind of guys in the right, just not in the right spot and just kind of let something up?
Absolutely. All three plays was one guy being in the wrong spot, not executing his job. And you can't do that, especially when you're trying to build well, nobody can do that. Everybody's got to do their job and they got to do their job well. But it's a lesson, and I think it's something we can get corrected and moving forward we can avoid those things. If we can eliminate explosives, keep people in front of us and make them earn it, then we'll have a chance. But that's what we got to do. We got to make them earn it. We can't give them anything.
As I talked about a little earlier, big afternoon for your linebacker Joshua Isaiah. 10 tackles, 3 TFLs, a pickoff that led to a score for you. Just talk about his performance.
Josh is a player. Grown man, that's what I call him, played grown man football. He was flying around the field. He was hitting people, made some a beautiful pick. And that's just a start. We think Josh is one of the better players in the country, and people just don't know about it yet. But you'll continue to see Josh's name pop up throughout the season. He's a good football player.
It doesn't get any easier for you this week as you go on the road and face a Big 12 opponent in UCF. When you play these type of games against a Power Four opponent, what is the biggest thing you're looking for from your team in this game?
Oh, well, definitely. This is one of those games where, and it's going to be true for every week, but we definitely cannot afford to beat ourselves. We can't make mistakes. We can't have self-inflicted wounds. We can't have pre-snap penalties. We can't be misaligned. Can't be in the wrong gap. We have to do a good job of playing team football, and we got to master the things that don't require talent, like communicating and things of that nature. So this is a game I don't feel like we have to play perfect. We have to play good. We definitely have to play good. We're gonna have to go down there and we have to play a good football game to give ourselves a chance. But we're not gonna go into any game defeated. We're gonna go down here and we're gonna compete our butts off on Saturday, and we're gonna let the chips fall where they may.
Do you feel like when you everybody in our league plays these FBS games and have had several of our teams this week were extremely competitive in them. What do you see is that you talked about not being able to make mistakes, but what are you able to learn playing against that level before you get into conference play? Are you even able to learn more about your guys?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, the first thing is you're playing against better players. I mean, just, keeping it real, being
Yeah.
honest, like playing against probably the best team. This will be the best team from a talent perspective that we'll play all year.
Mhm.
So if we can put ourselves in positions where we can be competitive with these guys, then we know with anybody else that we play, we'll have a chance. So I always look at it as a positive. We get a chance to play people that have, more resources, generally have better athletes, get to play in a nice stadium. The bounce house is going to be live. And probably have the lights show and all that stuff going on at 7 o'clock. So I mean, it's really no pressure on us. When you think about it, we can just go play. You don't have any pressure. So let's have fun. And for everybody that says they're a big time football player, these are the games where you get a chance to showcase that.
I love that. Coach Gibbs, thanks so much for the time this morning. Safe travels to Orlando, and I look forward to talking again next Monday morning.
All right, thank you, Rob.
All right, thank you.